you are. And over again, you say you love me, but you try to hurt me. And over again, you say you love me, but just wanna fool me. And over again, I fight these feelings, but you're fooling me. And over again, overthinking in my head. Over and over again.
Evelyn stood in the studio, taking in the way in which Lena's things were at odds with the natural feng shui of the apartment. They were old, drab, and outdated. But Evelyn knew that would change soon enough. She picked up the bookmarked book resting on the coffee table. Thoreau's Walden. It fit Lena's character. Evelyn pitied the version of the girl that would never come to be. Her ache for freedom would never be resolved within herself. No, Evelyn would be the grantor and guarantor of that. She opened the refrigerator, removing meal prep containers Lena had purchased in her desire to emulate Evelyn's care. There was that bothersome independence again. Evelyn swapped them with identical containers, prepared by her chef. The meals were laced with melatonin and ashwagandha to help the girl relax and sleep. She noticed, more than once that week, that Lena suffered from nightmares and broken REM cycles. She needed to associate everything given by Evelyn with positive feelings, at least for now. She also replaced the threadbare sheets on the bed, replacing them with fine cotton, 600-count sheets, and a new comforter to boot. It was only a coincidence that they faintly smelled of Evelyn herself. Evelyn checked her phone, the GPS tracker embedded in the apartment's keycard alerting her to Lena's approach. 12 minutes. By the time the keypad's lock disengaged, Evelyn was settled on the couch, legs crossed, reviewing damning information that she'd received on a competitor. Miss Voss? Lena's voice was breathless and shaky. Evelyn wasn't sure if it was the surprise visit or the bags of groceries in her hands. I brought you vitamins. You need to regulate your stress and cortisol levels. Her assistant looked over at the magnesium tablets on the countertop. Okay. But how did you... I'd hate for you to have an episode before Tokyo's business summit, so take one every day. The deflection worked as Lena's face contorted in confusion. Tokyo? Doesn't Thomas usually go with you? Not this time. Evelyn rose from the couch, stepping over to Lena. I'd prefer you to accompany me. She took the bags from Lena and put them on the counter. Peering inside, she saw a few boxes of sugary snack cakes and removed them. Processed sugar causes inflammation, spikes insulin, and disrupts sleep. Evelyn dumped the food in the garbage. If you want something to satisfy a sweet tooth, I can send you something with better ingredients than those. Then, Evelyn returned to Lena's shocked face. She closed the hanging mouth with 2 fingers under her chin. You've been distant this week. That wasn't true at all. Lena had been in Evelyn's orbit more than at any other time in her employment. But the expectation needed to be set. Where I am, so are you. Have I been? Sorry, I'm just tired. Evelyn could feel Lena's hesitance in accepting her touch. Of course you are, poor thing. You work hard, she said, her thumb moving up to graze a dark circle under an eye. Cancel your plans tonight. I don't have any. Good. Then you'll join me for dinner. Too many thoughts swirled in her head. Should she mention that she knew Evelyn had sent her mother a beautiful bouquet? Did she thank her? Hey, Mom, who sent these? Lena turned to her mother, Patricia, in question. Her mother, curled low over a newspaper crossword puzzle, shook her head. I have no idea. The card had nothing to say but take care on it. It's in the junk drawer if you want to look at it. And so, Lena did. Golden letters on black cardstock told her exactly who it was. Or did she address the more pressing issue? Her original position didn't call for travel with the CEO. Didn't that mean more responsibility? Wasn't it something they needed to discuss? Or did she resolve the immediate matter of her discomfort? Evelyn's knee pressed against hers under the table of the low-lit speakeasy-like restaurant they were in. She wasn't even sure if her boss was aware of the placement of her leg. You should try the scallops, Evelyn said, pointing to the pan-seared seafood. They're from Hokkaido, fresh daily. Lena complied, spearing one of them with a fork. So, do you come here often? Only with people I trust. That hung between them, and Lena fidgeted, uncomfortable with the implication. It was inane. She should want to be trusted by her boss and CEO. But it felt like she was signing page after page of a long tacit contract, the terms of which she didn't understand. She should have asked more questions by now. That she knew. But she also didn't want to question a good thing for fear of breaking something fragile. Her phone buzzed on the table. Lena picked it up and saw a text from one of her few friends, Mara. Hey, I know we haven't been keeping up with each other, but when were you going to tell me you moved? Something urgent? Evelyn asked, not looking up from her wine. No, Lena answered. Just a friend. Evelyn's dark green eyes slid to hers. Which? The one that borrowed $500 from you last year and never repaid it? Lena's stomach soured at the question, and she stiffened. She didn't want to freak out, but it was becoming difficult. How do you know about that? She breathed. I vet everyone who matters to you. You are working directly with the CEO of a Fortune 100 company, after all. Evelyn's answer was breezy, like it meant nothing. Forgive me, but I searched her on LinkedIn. Micro-influencer coach? Evelyn laughed. That isn't a real career. She's a grifter. Lena glanced back down at the text. Mara hadn't paid her back. She wasn't exacting, so she'd let it slide. Mara knew her financial situation, so when she hadn't paid it back, Lena figured she must still need more time. God only knew how much she understood what that felt like. But Mara had made large purchases since, with no mention of Lena's loan. Ignore her, came Evelyn's advice. She'll only ask for more from you. The scallop tucked into her cheek didn't taste so good anymore. Still, Lena silenced her phone and placed it into her purse. Erode the periphery. Check. Days and nights in her penthouse were bookended by checking on Lena Hart. Tonight was no exception. Evelyn lounged on her chaise, watching Lena's fingers type furiously. When Mara texted again, asking to go for drinks, Evelyn looked on as Lena replied, Can't, at a work thing. She didn't care for being categorized as a work thing. but understood Lena's brevity. Then came Mara's acidic reply that Lena had stopped coming around as soon as she got a better job. Evelyn watched as Lena's shoulders sagged at the accusation. It wasn't quite fair. Evelyn hadn't ruined Lena yet. Her assistant had begun to type a response, but Evelyn pulled the phone from her hands and dropped it into her oversized clutch. "Work things deserve your full attention," she said, then ate another scallop. Lena didn't ask for the phone back until the end of the night. Now, she was embroiled in a useless argument, trying to prove innocence that wouldn't soon matter. Evelyn dialed her IT director.
Evelyn?
"Victor, I need an unofficial favor."
It would be my pleasure.
"A small thing for you, I'm sure. Block the contact Mara Whitaker from Lena Hart's cell phone, please." The added please was only a pleasantry to acknowledge Victor's willingness to help.
Of course. Is that all?
"Yes, thank you, Victor." She returned attention to her phone, pulling up an unsent email. From evoss@vossindustries.com. Subject: Promotion Opportunity. "Your commitment to this company has been noted, Miss Hart. As discussed, you'll accompany me to Tokyo next month. Attached: cultural prep materials, including recommended wardrobe. EV." The attachment listed wardrobe pieces Evelyn preferred to see, along with a palette she longed to see. There was no room for Lena's tattered cardigans. A box arrived at 7 p.m. the next evening. Inside were clothes that Lena hadn't ordered, nor would ever order. But they were all her size, and, as she tried them on, the cuts accentuated the best parts of her. Lena couldn't contain her giddiness as she turned in the full-length mirror. Clothes that not only fit, but also made her look good. Beautiful, even. Lena hadn't realized how low her self-confidence had sunk until she saw herself dressed correctly. There was a bulky piece that she hadn't pulled from the large box, and when she did, a gasp escaped her. A buttery soft, midnight blue cashmere coat greeted her. Donning it, she pulled it closed and buttoned it. Gorgeous. A familiar scent reached her nose, not unlike the scent that seemed to cling to her new linens. Bergamot and sandalwood. Evelyn. It made her uneasy. And still, she turned her nose toward the lapel, breathing in deeply. Glancing up at the mirror in front of her, Lena couldn't reconcile the image staring back at her. She still felt like Lena Hart, bookish, broke, and uncertain. But the woman standing in these clothes was polished, poised, powerful. Evelyn Voss was creating a new Lena Hart. She was creating a masterpiece. Lena Hart strode through the office that morning, catching the stares of others in the building. Evelyn savored the way her confidence bloomed, a flower thriving on poison. The coat complimented her well. Evelyn found her in the supply room at lunchtime. She leaned against the door jamb, tucking a hand into the pocket of her trim pinstripe suit pants. "You look exquisite in that," she said, nodding to the cream turtleneck and navy blazer Lena wore. Lena, startled, gave her a half smile, still unsure. Evelyn moved forward and adjusted the collar unnecessarily, just to get into Lena's personal space. I've seen some of them leering at you. Don't get caught up, little Lena, she murmured. Then she tugged at the end of Lena's hair. When did you have the time to trim your hair? I woke up early this morning and took a chance on a place I found last night. They were the only ones near me open early. Does it? It looks great, Evelyn assured her. She'd taken to keeping a close eye on Lena's whereabouts, and it irked her that she'd missed something. Her gaze drifted up to Lena's, studying the wide eyes staring back at her. You heard me, yes? She tugged at that lock of hair again. About others? Mm-hmm. Evelyn would not have some office dalliance interrupt the carefully crafted game she was playing. I heard you, but can I ask why you're worried about that? Because you're mine, Lena Hart. Instead of answering with her true thoughts, she held her tongue and gave Lena a saccharine smile. Ask another question. Something flickered in Lena's eyes, and she frowned. Okay, why are you doing this? She asked. What is this exactly? The gifts, the attention. Finally. Evelyn wondered when the girl would get to that question. She dropped her hand from Lena's hair. Because you're worth the effort. A lie, of course. As it stood, Lena was just as dispensable as the rest. But that could change, Evelyn reminded herself. A ghost of an expression passed over Lena's face. Gratitude? Relief. Her next words came out rough and broken. No one's ever done this much for me before. Evelyn cupped her cheek, the skin soft, an intimate gesture unsuitable for the current professional setting. I know, Lena. I know. Then she raised an eyebrow. Don't forget to answer my email this evening. That night, Lena dreamt she was held in a gilded cage. She searched and searched for a key, only to meet a pair of emerald eyes. Evelyn's voice echoed, bouncing into her from every angle. You asked for this. Her eyes popped open, and darkness greeted her. She lay there, staring into nothingness, trying to keep a grasp on the dream she had just had. All she could see was a shadowed Evelyn. She reached for the cell phone under her pillow. The numbers 316 glared back at her. She saw a red bubble beside her mailbox, denoting a new email. It was from Boss Industries, the Tokyo itinerary. Lena scanned the schedule. Nestled between meetings. 7 p.m., private onsen reservation. Shared. She wondered about it until she remembered that she'd neglected to respond to Evelyn's previous email. Quickly, she scrolled and pressed reply. From L. Hart at bossindustries.com. Subject, regarding promotion opportunity. I accept. Thank you for everything. Lena H. The onsen was magnificent, a veiled place tucked in the mountainside of Kyoto. Evelyn had paid triple to ensure strict privacy. No guests, no staff, no interruptions. Steam curled over cedar planks as Evelyn watched Lena linger near the edge, still clutching the purple-barred yukata around her. Her legs dangled and swirled in the water, her awkwardness apparent. "It's not a doctor's office, Lena," Evelyn chastised softly. "This is a cultural immersion, one that many don't get to experience." Lena peeked up at her, then away, a blush touching her cheeks. Her beautiful half-cast skin glistened, the humid fog of the hot spring clinging like a second skin. It contrasted with Evelyn's pale skin, and she admired the difference. "Does Thomas usually join you?" Lena asked. Evelyn tilted her head, watching Lena's face closely. "No, I've never brought him, or anyone else for that matter." It appeared for only a split second. Satisfaction. Lena's gaze darted to the forest beyond the rocks, still avoiding. "I didn't pack a swimsuit." "You don't need one." Evelyn didn't need to point out her nakedness. Lena saw it. Or, rather, tried not to. "Come in, Lena." Ever obedient, Lena let the yukata slip from her shoulders, then from her fingertips. It pulled at her feet until she stepped in, sinking until her chin met the water. Evelyn wasted no time. She floated toward the girl, settling in next to her. "Relax. You're here to learn, not to labor." Lena's gaze flickered to hers, a hint of alarm in them. "Learn what?" she asked. "How to be still. You're always vibrating, Lena, like a live wire. It's exhausting to witness, honestly." Her hand drifted under the water's surface, touching Lena's bicep. Her assistant jerked. "See?" Evelyn's touch skated up and over her shoulder, squeezing. "Your muscles are tense. Turn. Let me help." "Miss Voss." "Evelyn," she corrected. "Here, it's just Evelyn." She waited for Lena to try to refuse again. Instead, she hesitated for the briefest moment, then turned, allowing access to her knotted shoulders. "Allowing the world and others to care for you is a skill one must develop, Lena. I'm usually all right taking care of myself." The protest was weak. Evelyn chuckled, the low sound reverberating in her chest. "Can you? You haven't stopped wearing the coat I bought for you." She saw Lena's ears turn red. "It's been cold. You have more than one coat, though. That much I know. Well, and the vitamins, the apartment, the bonuses." Evelyn placed her mouth close to Lena's ear. "Admit it. You like being tended to." She could see the pulse in Lena's neck jumping. Lena didn't answer the charge, the accusation misting into the air like the water around them. Evelyn smiled. Her voice dropped into a whisper. "You can trust me, you know." Lena swallowed. "I do." Liar. But Evelyn's thumb skimmed the nape of Lena's neck, where a strand of hair escaped her bun. "Good." Then she pressed a soft kiss to Lena's temple before retreating. She'd scrubbed her skin raw in the shower, but the memory of Evelyn's hands lingered. The kiss had seared into the side of her head like a branding iron. Lena replayed the message from her mother as she stood in the Ryokins' moonlit garden. Something about moving with her aunt to take advantage of another medical facility hours away. Lena couldn't even process the reasoning or how it had come about. the only thought banging around her head. Somehow, Evelyn did this. From what filtered through the roaring deafness in her ears, it sounded like a beautifully equipped place. But Lena felt a ghost hand on her throat, choking the life out of her. Maybe Mara had been right. Maybe she was changing. But when she tried to talk to her friend about it, Mara had suddenly disappeared. Her calls wouldn't go through, and her text didn't say delivered anymore. Sighing, Lena re-entered her room. A chill ran down her spine as she saw a bottle of pills on her pillow, along with a note. Take them. Rest is a discipline. The pills were an off-white, innocuous color. The other vitamins had looked similar, and they had improved her sleep quality. Lena rolled one between her fingers, the silence of the ryokan pressing in on her. She didn't trust it, but she didn't not trust it. Lena dry swallowed too. Sleep took her in short order. Familiar nightmares followed soon after. Exhaustion was an excellent tool when used correctly. A fine sandpaper eroding resistance. Evelyn saw Lena sneak painkillers when she believed she wasn't looking. Her hands shook as she arranged and distributed reports to meeting attendees. When asked a question, she gaped like a fish out of water before giving a half-witted response. Evelyn didn't mind, as it worked in her favor. You're manipulating me. Evelyn opened an eye and raised her head from the water a few degrees. Lena stood at the edge of the water, gripping her yukata closed. Her face was one of confused anger. Come in, Lena. The water is healing. No. Her voice cracked. Not until you tell me the truth. About? My mother, this trip, the gifts, those sleeping pills? Evelyn sighed and rose, drifting closer to the edge. The truth is subjective. You seem upset that I'm protecting you. Protecting me? You're drugging me, Lena hissed. I'm helping you. Evelyn refused to raise her voice. Stress disrupts sleep. Lack of sleep leads to panic attacks in supply rooms, which you were prone to. Did you prefer those? Lena shook her head. You're twisting things. Am I? I've done nothing but help this whole time, Lena. Advocating for prioritized medical care for your mother hardly seems like a crime. Advocating? You mean controlling? Evelyn stepped out, water sluicing off her shoulders as she met Lena on the steps. She closed in on her until she could hear the air rushing in and out of Lena's nostrils. Here it was, the sticking point. One of many, Evelyn knew. But this was where 99% failed. Evelyn had a choice to make. Did she want to smother this spark of rebellion, or let it carry on? Claim, or let go? The defiance flickering in Lena's dilated pupils made it an easy choice. You're manipulating me. So you've said. Prove it. It's everywhere. You think I'm cruel? Evelyn tilted her head. Cruelty would be letting you drown in debt. Letting your mother rot under the supervision of insipid doctors and mediocre nurse practitioners. She reached for Lena's cheek, ignoring her flinch. I saved you. And this is your gratitude? I didn't ask you to do that. You did. Every time you swiped my card. Every time you wore my coat. Evelyn's fingers pinched Lena's cheek, nails just shy of biting. You begged. Something flashed across Lena's features, and Evelyn swore she heard a faint crack somewhere in her soul. I hate you, Lena whispered. Evelyn gave a wolfish grin. No, you hate that you need me. Her eyes roamed over Lena's face, drinking in the barely concealed horror. But I don't mind. Hatred is intimate. She gripped Lena's shoulders and turned her a bit. Go ahead. Leave. Walk out that gate. Evelyn watched Lena's profile, tears resting on the edges of her lower lids. Where will you sleep? Your apartment is leased under my name. Your resume? A bland, uninspiring trail of failures I erased. Your mother? Happily receiving care in another state. Even your friends. Stop. Mara blocked you. Did you know? She's moving on, by the way. Engaged, last time I checked. That set her off. Lena's sob echoed off the rocks in the onsen, her shoulders shaking. Evelyn pulled her close, skin to skin, hand in hair. Shh, shh. I'm not your enemy. Evelyn brought Lena's hand in between them, placing the palm over her heart. Feel that? I'm with you. I'm what you have. All you have. But why? Why me? Evelyn tipped her face up. Because you're strong enough to endure me. She smiled. And foolish enough to try. The walk back to the Ryokan felt surreal. Evelyn's arm anchored her, and she didn't know whether to lean in or away. She felt cold despite the warm yukata around her shoulders. At the threshold to her room, Evelyn paused. Hakone tomorrow. Get some rest. Lena's unfocused eyes stared at the tatami. Yes, Miss Voss. Evelyn. Lena paused. Evelyn.
I'm superstitious, but